Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday. Hope you are all doing really amazing. So what I wanted to talk with you about today is this, but before I do that, I want to talk about being out of your comfort zone and how almost vomit worthy that can feel sometimes, and I'll explain how I'm doing this. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is things around like what to talk about when you're not really feeling it or when you're feeling tired or whatever else. So I've done the school run this morning. I have arrived at the gym and I'm just actually, to be honest, probably just killing a little bit of time before going in. I don't really see the point in going home and spending time at home before coming back in. So it's just like, wow, just come on down and do your thing and everything will be as it should be and be amazing. So we had a really big weekend. My mum's birthday this weekend and we went down to celebrate with her. So that was great on Saturday. Came home yesterday. Now, what I want you guys to think about, and I'll explain how this ties in a second. I was super tired yesterday. Driving 4.5, nearly 5 hours one way with the 3 kids in the car, and then almost about less than 24 hours later to turn around and come home, I think is quite the commitment. But of course we do this for our mums, right? But consequently, yesterday I was a little tired. I was feeling a little flat, and I had 2 things that I was doing yesterday after we came home. One of them was going to a singing lesson, which I'll talk into that in a second. And then the other thing was going in and doing roller skating. So I coach Skate Fit on a Sunday afternoon with another lady. And oh my God, it is just so much fun. But I was feeling a little tired, sitting down on your butt for 5 hours can kind of do that to you. But where I'm kind of going with all of this is like with your comfort zone. If you were to look back over maybe the last 6 months, when was the last time, maybe 12 months or however long it's been for you, when was the last time you really put yourself out of your comfort zone? So for me, this going and doing singing lessons makes me so anxious. I can't even begin to tell you. So my kids, my husband rib me all of the time about my lack of singing ability, right? I love, like, if we're in the car, I'll just kind of belt stuff out and I'm not really trying to do the singing in tone thing, singing in tune even. It's a kind of interesting sort of thing, right? And so there were a few things that happened. So one of the reasons, we needed to leave early yesterday from Adelaide, and therefore it was an early departure because I had a singing lesson here at 1, I think. And I was just like, oh my God, maybe I can cancel. I'd already paid for it, last week. It's like, maybe I can cancel. Maybe I'm sick. Maybe I'm too tired. All of these thoughts were running through my head about, about why, or like a justification as to why I didn't need to go. Now, I know myself well enough that that's classic self-sabotage. And really what it came down to is I didn't want to look like an idiot in front of the singing teacher, who I don't know. Like, I've never met her before, don't know anything about her other than her name and that this is what we were going to do. I've got 0 experience other than singing in choir at school, which I love to do. So the thought of going and doing this just had me like riddled with anxiety. I was worried about it the whole drive, and I was concerned that we weren't going to make home in time, and then I was going to be late, and then I was going to feel bad, blah, 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 blah. It was like this massive snowball effect. That light's terrible. There you go. This massive snowball effect of anxiety and stress. Maybe that's a bit better. No, that's not any better. Sorry, guys. Hey, man, maybe if I sit that there, I just don't want it to wobble too much. So I was like, okay, well, Nicola, pull your finger out. And when you get to the thing, you know, you'll just do your thing and do your best and it'll be fine. So I've walked in and she said, so, you know, tell me a little bit about you and your experience and whatever else. And I've just gone, well, I don't have any. My family tease me about the fact that I do not have a singing voice. And my daughter actually said, Mum, I don't think you should go because I think it's just really embarrassing and I think you're having a midlife crisis. I'm like, dude, what the heck? Yeah, it is, Myrna. Thank you. It is a magical day, magical Monday. But I guess like I was just like, no, I'm going, stuff what you all think. And, you know, again, like what's the worst thing that happens? So when I got there, I just said to the teacher, I'm just like, you know what? My family tease me and say that I can't even hold a tune and there's this, that and the other. And I said, I'm actually really nervous about this, feeling quite anxious. And she's like, don't worry about it. Like she said, I've literally had people who are clinically tone deaf for 3 years before they can actually get in tune and sing in tune. So she said, I'm sure you're going to be fine. And I've always seen worse. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I bet you say that to we had to do that. That little warm-up number, that was funny. She said, you know, I've always seen worse and, you know, whatever. So just let it go. And I'm going, okay, great. You know, I bet you say that to all the people. So anyway, she was really amazing, right? Put me at ease and we started breathing. Like we just spent half the time on breathing, which was really interesting. You know, I've done a lot of different breathwork stuff over the years through the energy work that I do. And, you know, I was just like, oh, you know, this kind of makes sense and everything else. So by the time it got to, I was allowed to hum at one point, and then I don't know what else we did, but, you know, that was fine. You know, I was feeling a lot more relaxed. So the worst thing and I was having this conversation with my daughter on the way to school. She's got a debate presentation. She's the third person in a debate lineup today. And she's really anxious and nervous about it. And I said, you know, honey, like, what's the worst thing that happens? You stand up there and you laugh. Or you stand up there and you lose all of your words. You stand up there and you have taken notes about what the other parties, that like the other 3 people have been saying, and maybe you don't look back at them, then you say the wrong thing. You know, that's the worst case scenario. It's going to be fine. We're not dying. You're not going to, you know, pass out in front of anybody. Like you'll be absolutely fine. And so often, you know, for me, the worst thing for me was feeling like I just didn't want to feel like an idiot and, you know, make a fool of myself in front of this singing teacher. When in the reality of it is, well, you know, I'm trying and you can only improve, right? That was kind of my thing. It's like, well, what's the worst that happens? The worst that happens is this. The best thing that happens is I learn a bunch of stuff and, you know, I'm happy. So that's one of the benefits, I suppose, of getting out of your comfort zone. And it made me think about when I'm coaching roller skating. It's the same thing, you know, sometimes we've got skaters who are like people that come to us and they haven't skated ever before or not since they were 10 years old. And as a coach, we are so gentle and accommodating and welcoming. It's like any ability, any age, it's really no problem. And so what happens is, I think that as we get more experience in our businesses and things like that, is that we can lose touch with how other people sometimes feel coming into our stuff, particularly if they've had no experience with it, right? So if you're a book writing coach and the fact that someone is going to write and then you might read their stuff can feel really vomit worthy. It's how I felt last year. If you're wanting to go to a photographer and they're saying to you to go like this, or, you know, do whatever move it is that they say that you need to do, you might feel really silly. You might feel really stupid, but we've got to let that go so that they can work their magic with you, right? So I actually think that it's really important for us to regularly be, well, you know, maybe a couple of times a year, be finding things in our world that we can use to throw ourselves out of our own comfort zones, because it helps us to remain empathic, almost about how some new clients are going to feel when they come to us. So it's a little bit like with my clients, I get them all to start doing Facebook Lives eventually. I get them to start writing content, to start putting themselves out there, whether they feel like it or whether they don't. And that can sometimes feel like you are standing naked on a stage in front of a stadium filled with people who are all pointing at you, right? Which is kind of the fear, this ungrounded fear that I felt like yesterday, and how my daughter was feeling this morning. And it's like the worst thing that could happen is just not even true. We've just got to start. And the more we start, the more we practice, the better we feel. On that note, on the content note, I was chatting with an old client that's actually come back to start working with me again on Friday. And she was saying that she's got this newborn child, I think maybe 3 months old now. And she was saying, there are just some days, Nicola, where I just don't feel like, or I'm so tired, I might have only had like 2 or 3 hours sleep. And I'm like, dude, on those days, do a Facebook Live or post a photo of you doing what you're doing, because like that inspires these other mums who are her market to be okay with the fact that they're not always going to have their shit together. So use what's going on. The fact that you don't feel motivated to talk about stuff, talk about that, right? Because then, she's a physio, Pilates instructor, health coach, just freaking rock star of a person. And I said, talk about that, because it's all about being okay with who you are, like bringing elements of yourself back into your world and being okay with self-care and stuff like that is really important as a human, but especially as a mom with little ones. The better you look after yourself, the more you're a better mom, a better wife, a better partner, a better sister, a better daughter, a better friend, a better whatever. Yeah. So yeah, or dads. Exactly, Marcus. So I guess the thing there is that the way that I see it is like, if you're not feeling like it. So this morning, I'm pretty tired. It was a heavy duty skating session last night. We went straight out to dinner with my in-laws to celebrate my brother-in-law being home, and he's actually heading back. After a 5-hour drive, after a reasonably traumatic afternoon having a singing lesson, after a big night on the Saturday night, it wasn't a big night, but it was a big night for us, celebrating with my mum for her birthday, which was, off the back of a 5-hour drive. It's been a really big weekend. And so this morning I'm just like, oh my God, I'm feeling really lethargic. But we've got to build that discipline around showing up. Use your circumstances, like this conversation with my daughter in the debate team, like the conversation around the singing lessons yesterday, like the conversation around the, feeling really freaking tired actually, and yet I'm still going to go and do some weight work. So use the things around you. Use the way that you are feeling to talk into your audience, and maybe just share with them one thing that they can do right now in order to move them, in order to progress them forward, in order to have them, doing something a little bit differently, so as to inspire and motivate them. Yeah? I think that's really the key that everyone in your audience is looking for. They're looking for inspiration. They're looking for motivation. They're looking for something in you that they can almost kind of like extract out of your brain and plug into theirs, so that they can move forward and achieve something. So there you go. That's how you use the vomit worthiness of getting out of your own comfort zone, and when you're not feeling like it, actually still using that and being really disciplined with showing up. Because here's the thing, your audience are always looking for, notifications are always looking for reasons to either trust you or B, not trust you, right? So they're either looking for a reason to keep watching, or they're looking for a reason to eradicate you from their life. Like, let's be honest. everybody is busy. So the thing that we really need to do is to give people a myriad of reasons for them to keep watching, to keep engaging. And the more you can create that really great human contact, that really almost like heart to heart, like, I know you're not getting it. I know you're not, I know you're not, maybe not feeling like it today, but just go and share one thing with one simple thing that someone can do in order to move them and progress them forward. You know, that's really your job, right? Is to keep inspiring and motivating and letting people know that they're not alone. So that's a big thing for today, Big Core Monday. So that's that. I'm going to go and step into the gym. There is a link if you haven't joined the Amplification Project yet. We start next Monday. So there are 7 sleeps left to go. It's $297 to come and hang out for, we're going flat out for 21 days. So every day we'll be going through, okay, so what's going on in your world? This is what you need to do. What's going on today? This is what you need to go do. So you know exactly what you need to do on a daily basis in order to be able to build that discipline. Now, I know for some of you that might feel like it's an out of your comfort zone thing, and that's okay. I guess the thing there is that if you are really wanting to create the impact that you want, create the business that you want, get the message out there that you want, then it means we've got to do something a little differently. So this might be that vomit-worthy, out of your comfort zone thing for you. If it is, like, you will be okay, right? You will be okay. We've done this a lot. So, you know, I'm here to hold your hand and really step you through that. The other thing is that, you know, we'll teach you how to actually use these, you know, normal everyday experiences that you're going through to really, you know, essentially build positioning, right? So really build a personal brand around yourself to be able to connect with your audience, to be able to make a difference in the world, inspire, motivate, move people forward. So that is me for today. Have a really amazing and awesome magical Monday, and I will talk with you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye.